Hello and welcome to the weekly Armchair podcast Kickoff. This is our London Lowdown show, and this evening I am joined by Keane Franey, host of Keane on United and our MMA show, and also joined by a very special guest, first time on the show and very thankful for him to come on, formerly of AFTV and now doing his own show with Claude and the Banstas. Claude, how are you this evening, guys?
How are you, boys? And nice to be on. Thank you for inviting me on. Thank you very much for inviting me on, and it's a pleasure.
I'm very good now, William. Thanks for asking. Thanks for having me on the London show here today. Glad to be back on the show today.
Thanks, no problem at all. Now, starting off, I would like to, once again, thank you for coming on. I would like to ask Claude to just basically, I'd like to ask why exactly you supported Arsenal. Basically, what brought you into football? What made you support Arsenal? Because obviously you're a season ticket holder now, but what was the first step that made you love this football club like you do now?
Well, being born in Holloway Road did help. I was born in Holloway Road, just off Holloway Road in Toynington Park, which is not too far from the ground. And as I was born there, and I went to primary school there as well, and I just loved Arsenal. Everywhere in the playground, everyone was Arsenal. Mostly Arsenal fans because it's the local area. There was a few from other clubs like Chelsea, Spurs. Not so much Chelsea, maybe Spurs, but it was. That's why I fell in love with it, and just loved the. I don't know what to say. It's just you're born into it, aren't you?
Yeah, no doubt. Because personally, right, I was born up in Islington in the Whittington Hospital in North London. I was born.
Actually, I was born in the hospital's not there, not across the road from there. St Mary's not there anymore. So yeah, and so. Yeah. Exactly. We're not far away from each other.
Yeah. So obviously I was born there, but I moved to Ireland when I was 2. So unfortunately, I couldn't go to as many games as I would like. But in terms of my family, we've all been Arsenal. So my granddad used to own a pub off Roman Way on the Caledonian Road. So, and the former Arsenal players such as David O'Leary and Willie Young used to frequently go drinking inside that pub. Yeah. So basically it's all become into the family, so we got enjoyment of them players, which then got passed down through generations and generations. And then speaking of generations, Keane, I hear that your father is actually an Arsenal fan and you didn't go down that route. Why is that?
No. So yeah, my own dad's an Arsenal fan. So yeah, I suppose myself, I was named after Roy Keane by my mum. So essentially I was born and bred into Manchester United, and kind of that's how I kind of started supporting United. I was kind of institutionalized more than anything else. So yeah, I didn't obviously take the route of supporting Arsenal, but I do have a lot of respect for the club because look, there in my time growing up, Arsenal and Manchester United were always the two predominant clubs who were winning leagues when I was growing up. And so in my opinion, if we're in the top 3 biggest clubs in England, you have Manchester United, you have Liverpool, you have Arsenal. They're the royalty of English football in terms of the biggest clubs in England. Now, obviously, you have your Chelseas, you have your Manchester Cities, but again, they didn't really become relevant until the 2000s.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's perfect. So now also, Claude, you're obviously pretty much a season ticket holder, but obviously during COVID, you're unable to go to the games. How do you find yourself dealing with the fact that you can't actually go and support there, and versus having to watch it on TV?
It's not great, and it's not, and hopefully that it doesn't get stopped again. The good thing, the one thing we can do is watch the games on TV now. although now we have to even pay for it sometimes. But at least we can see our team live on the TV, and and of course, which helps as well. With my channel, I'm always doing all the watch-alongs and everything like that, so that helps as well. It's not hurt me that much. It does. I missed the going to the pub before the games. I missed the chat with the boys. Before there was an AFTV, I missed that as well. I mean, I missed that, giving my opinions on the game. But I've sort of got used to watching it on the TV now. That I'm not that, but as long as I can see my team play, I've got used to it. But I would like to go back. Of course I do.
Yeah.
We all want to go back. We all want to go back. But even when we do slightly go back, it's only going to be a quarter of the ground is going to be full. There's going to be one game here, one game not there. The away thing, I love the away bit as well. That's what I miss most, is the away trips, going on the coach, having a bit banter with the boys on the coach. All the away games is great, and having my little tussles with Ty on the coach. I do miss all that. And, that's one thing I do miss, is the away trips, the days away. Not so much the home games, but I do miss the away trips a lot. And I don't think we'll get back to doing away games for a long, long time, because I think it'd be hard enough to get back to the home supporters only first, and then eventually the away supporters will be allowed. But I think this could take quite a while, and there's even talk now of another lockdown, and probably someone was telling me the other day that might even the FA are thinking of stopping the game now again. But I hope not. I hope it's not true, because we need something to occupy ourselves, especially when we're in lockdown, don't we? Some of us do need something to hold on to. Do you know what I'm saying? And it would really be horrible if we went off again.
Absolutely, no doubt. I mean, during the first lockdown, it pretty much got me through. Like, I'm not going to lie, I struggled a little bit during the lockdown in terms of mental health and stuff. But once the football was on every day, it at least gave me something to do and something to watch. I mean, I work in the hospitality sector, so obviously that's one of the first ones to close here in Ireland. We're now in a full level 5 restriction, so we're all closed. So I need to try and find stuff to help me do it. Now, don't get me wrong, this podcast also helped me through a lot of times and helped me get to do something off my mind, as well as finding other stuff. But the football stopped again, then obviously there's less content that we're able to make. There's less things to watch in general. It's just a tough time at the moment. In terms of the away games, now, obviously being in Ireland, it's a lot harder to get to some of the games. But ironically, the last game that we went to I actually went with Keane, was about 2 years ago, was Arsenal versus Man United away. Now, for me, it was very tough. I actually had to sit in the Stretford end and try and watch the team. Now, that was very tough, but even just watching it and seeing the Arsenal away fans it was more magical to see, and it was great to see that passion. And you can tell it was great. And even then, sitting the home end, seeing the United fans naturally being there, there's something different that you miss when you're on TV than when you're watching at home on TV. It's special actually going to the games.
Yeah, obviously. So, I mean, of course you're going to miss that. You are going to miss that. But it's better. What I'm saying at the moment, it's better to have some way of watching it than having none at all. You know what I'm saying?
I think no doubt.
I suffer from. I do suffer from depression. Yeah, it's not a big secret, and this is some sort of thing that gives me a lift. You know what I'm saying? And if that's taken away as well, then it's hard for me, because it's not easy. My living situation is not great at the moment, and to be honest with you, I don't think I can cope with something, nothing to do. The channel gives me something to do. The football gives me something to focus on. I need something to focus on, and that's another lockdown would complete lockdown would do me no favours at all.
Agreed, it would do a lot of people no favours, but no doubt that at least you've got a lot of support, I'm pretty sure, around you, and I'm sure everything will be pretty good, and hopefully they can keep on playing and we can keep on enjoying it, or being frustrated by it, but at least enjoying watching what we love. Now I'm going to go on to the subject of the actual football now, and get your full-on opinion on how you feel the Arteta regime is going. Because obviously, starting off last season, we finished amazingly. We beat City, we beat Chelsea in the run to the FA Cup, and we beat Liverpool in the Community Shield. But obviously, lately, it's been a bit more of a struggle, and results haven't gone this way. How are you feeling about Arteta at the moment?
Well, look, to be honest with you, I thought last season was a poor season, but we got a bit of a bonus with the FA Cup. But for me, league-wise, it was a poor season. With our position in the league was really poor, which meant we had another season of Europa League. I'm going to be truthful with you. I didn't want the guy in the first place in the job, and my reason for that is that when the club is in the mess that we are, and we are a massive club, let's not get that mixed up there, because we are a massive club. And when I saw the mess we was in, it needed a manager with a CV, in my opinion, and it needed someone that, you know, with a good working history, like Champions League trophies and league titles. And this sort of job needed someone like Ancelotti or say Mourinho. And for me to get a guy like Arteta, and I've got nothing personal against Arteta, it's just that I think at the time he has no experience. It's all very well being under Pep at Man City and learning the ropes, but he's not got actual experience of running it himself. Yeah, so
yeah.
I think Arteta would have been better off at another club, say mid-table club, rather than a team that's like us. Needed a job. What I'm trying to say is, Arteta would have been good if the team was in a good state, and someone retired and left the team in a really good position. Yeah, that would have been ideal for a young manager.
So, do you feel like would you feel like it would have been better for him to take over when Arsene Wenger left than when Unai Emery took over, or? Even when Wenger
left, I didn't think it was in. I thought it was in a mess as well. To be honest with you, I think it. How can I put it? If, for example, Arsene Wenger left 2007, say, right, when the club was still had a lot of the players, 2006, I say, and then would have been ideal for a young manager to come in. I don't think it's not the position. I think Arteta would have been better off going to Everton, and we would have been better off getting Ancelotti, someone like that. That's how I see it. Yeah. But it's all a matter of opinion. It's all a matter of opinion.
That's fair. We're more than happy to hear everybody's opinion, because personally, I was actually quite not pleased, but I was interested when he took over. It was like, okay, let's see what he can do. And then when he came out with his first press conference, I was like, his attitude, he doesn't take any, pardon my language, he doesn't take any shit off of anyone. And it just felt like, and you've seen that obviously with the Guendouzi situation, the Ozil, he isn't afraid to stamp his authority on it. Now, will that hurt us in the long run? Maybe in terms of creativity, in terms of the Ozil situation, but I don't want to talk about that. He's not in our Premier League squad. Put that out of bed, and it'll help the squad in the long run. But I feel like he can be a good manager. I feel maybe he should have taken a job on first, but he didn't get many of the opportunities. I mean, he got the chance to take over Newcastle, apparently, and he turned that down. But would you really want to see him at Newcastle? You wouldn't have really suited their style of play that they typically play. Yeah, that's kind of my standpoint on it. Keane, were you shocked when we actually appointed Arteta at that time?
Well, if I look at the situation with kind of the big clubs around England, they're all kind of, I suppose, trying to hire club legends. It also seems like, because you look at us, we United, we obviously hired Solskjaer. We wanted to go back to kind of, suppose, the Man United way, and because obviously we had Jose Mourinho, and we all know how that kind of ended up. You see Chelsea, they did have Frank Lampard, and they got Frank Lampard in after Maurizio Sarri, and they took that direction. And so you see kind of clubs like that. Arsenal seems like to follow that same model, as trying to hire someone who knows kind of the values of the club, not more than CV manager.
Yeah, but hold on. The club legend. Arteta's not a club legend.
No.
Not for me anyway. He's not a club legend.
He done quite well at Arsenal when he was a player.
Yeah, but not a club legend.
I'll phrase that. Someone who knows the values of the club. I suppose for Arsenal.
Yeah, Lampard had experience, remember. Even Solskjaer had experience. They both came in with experience as well. So in that way, not so much. I can understand where you're coming from, but at least they had experience. Arteta's come in with no experience, and I must admit, I think Solskjaer's appointment, I thought, was he divides the fan base at United. I think.
He does. Yeah, absolutely. The fan base.
If you look at it at the moment, I mean, when they beat 6-1, they couldn't wait to get him out. Now he's a hero after beating Leipzig. That's football for you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A few weeks ago when they was it 6-1 against Spurs? Then the one it was, it was on a hanging by a noose, wasn't he? Really, and now turned it around. I mean, let's give him credit here. I mean, they've come away from home, and now they suddenly produced that performance the other night. I didn't see the game. Terry was covering the game. I was covering the other game, but according to Terry, they were flying. They were absolutely brilliant the other night, and it just shows you in a few weeks how people's opinions change. But it's still divided, and there's still people in your place.
100%. Like the jury's out.
Yeah. So it's not just Arsenal this happens at, it's Manchester United as well. I'm hearing Tottenham fans, there's a lot of Tottenham fans that don't like Mourinho. I think they've done all right apart from last night. They've been doing really well. There's Chelsea fans divided over Lampard. If you watch their social media after they was it the West Brom game when they just come back from 3-0 down, there was people wanting him out then. So this is what I'm trying to say. Every fan base is very divided on these coaches at the moment.
No doubt. Right. Actually, going back on old man, Keane, did you have a question you wish to ask, actually?
Yeah, and Claude, so like obviously with Arsene Wenger, he's been your most successful manager like in the last in the modern era. And like he's done a lot of great things for Arsenal in terms of changing the culture of English football. He took the drinking culture out of English football, and he won a lot of league titles with Arsenal and other domestic trophies. How did you feel about, I suppose, the last 10 years of like Arsene Wenger? And do you think maybe it was the new ownership that kind of, I suppose, nearly tarnished the legacy, or how do you feel about the final years of Wenger?
I think he went on too long, and I think even Ferguson, to an extent, but Ferguson knew when to get out. By the way, he got out at the right time. Manchester United, he knew that he got as much as he could out of that last, and he went off with being as champions. With Arsenal, I think there was a stubbornness about him in the end. I think to be honest with you, I think he was better off when he was to go when the new stadium was done, because he was just at the right time. He would have been. He's took the club as far as he. Because with that new stadium, there were going to be sacrifices. Everyone knew there was going to be sacrifices, and I think then that was the time he should have gone, because he knew he was going to be someone with hands behind his tied behind his back, and I think he should have gone then, but he went along with the board, and he wanted to say, oh, well, no, I'll carry on, and in the end, this is what happens. It just. Frustrations. We ended up, in the end, we win a couple of FA Cups. All right, that's great. Even then, he should have, after the whole game, I think he should have said, that's it. He rode his luck in that final. They got out of jail. That team was on its way. It's not. So that was the time to go. I think actually the time was to go. Thinking about it now, it's when we lost the Champions League final. I think that's when he should have gone. I think then someone else would have come in maybe, and I think would might have how can I put it? I might have just persuaded the board a bit more than what he did in getting funding, because we were told by Ivan Gazidis we will become all this hard work will be rewarded eventually. We're competing in 2000 and in the next around about 2012, 2013 with the likes of Bayern Munich. But I'm afraid the only thing we're competing with Bayern Munich, the only thing we've got better than Bayern Munich at the moment is the toilets in our ground. And that's the promise by Ivan Gazidis, that we would compete. And we were sold a dream that never existed. And I'm afraid Arsene Wenger went along with that, and I think he should not have gone along with it, and he should have resigned. He should have gone. Actually, when David Dean went, he should have gone as well. He must have seen the wrong on the wall. He must have saw the wall. After
reading this book, he seemed really conflicted and really wanted to leave around that time, but he was convinced by David Dean himself not to go, which I find interesting.
David would have said, well, no, because I think David Dean was trying to be nice. But then David Dean has got other interests rather than Arsenal, because his son is an agent, and his son has presided over the sales of players like Fabregas all out of the football club. So I don't know. It leaves a bit of a nasty taste to me about that. But I just feel that if it had gone after 2006, I think everyone would have, everyone would have been fully behind him and would have loved him. But now you see a lot of people turned against him towards the end. Yeah. So.
No doubt. Well, around that time, obviously, like all of us kind of knew, like he wasn't the man to take us forward, and it wasn't out of love, disrespect, or hate for him. It was just annoyance at the team, and we just want our team to be the best and succeed, and we want to be up there challenging and winning league titles year in, year out. And we knew that he wasn't able to do that, and you're right in the sense that it felt like he did have a bit of stubbornness, but that's his personality, in the sense that he's like, no, I can do this. Even reading the book, he felt like even when he left there that season 2 years ago, he felt like he could still do a job, but it was pretty obvious that his time had come. It was past him.
To me, he's a good man manager and player. Tactically, I don't think he was up there. Tactically, I don't think he had while he had all the top players and good players, that he was, because he just let them play. But the problem is, and that's why he failed in Europe for me, and his big failure in Europe is that sometimes in Europe, rather than the Premier League, sometimes you have to be tactically good as well. And I think that 2004, Arrigo Sacchi said it as well. I remember Arrigo saying, "This is the best team in Europe. We should have won we won the Champions League that year, Porto. We should have won it. We've beaten Chelsea, FA Cup, League Cup. We beat them twice in the league, yet we couldn't finish them off in a European game because the tactics are different in Europe. He couldn't do it in Europe. He couldn't do it at all. That's how it is. I mean, and that he got it right until the final. He was a bit unlucky in 2006, but he was very unlucky with the sending off.
No doubt.
Because up until that,
sending off with Lehman definitely changed the game.
That was the last year he actually changed his tactics in Europe and actually got it right, because we weren't conceding goals up until the
final. All the knockout stage, we didn't concede one goal, and we were playing great teams. So Real Madrid.
He was getting it right. It wasn't. He wasn't. There was no. What you call it? There was a balance there of attacking and defending. It was a balance. The right balance was there. But then in the final, we got that Lehman. Don't know what Lehman was doing. And then, of course, when you got Almunia, in goal. That's it. That cost us because that one of the goal that he's conceded. That was I can never forgive him for that mistake alone in the final. And also Henry threw on goal at 1-0. He buries it, but that's the fatigue. Yeah. That was it. He was gone. He's tired. It was because we were playing with 10 men. I think it just completely the fatigue got to him. I mean, that could have been 2-0. It could have been game over. And we might be saying he could have gone out with the Champions League trophy, but still think now that then was a time, and then there was that episode in 2000 when we lost the League Cup to Birmingham. We've beaten them convincingly, home and away. Cup of final, he starts a League Cup final. He starts resting players. I don't know why, what was going on there, but we should have won that as well. Yeah. We should have won that cup. You know what I'm saying? So there we go. That's
definitely made some mistakes. All right. Mm-hmm. Keane, I'm actually interested to get your point. Obviously, in terms of Wenger, he's now gone. He's working for FIFA. He has nothing in terms of the club. Whereas at United, Ferguson is still pretty much there in terms of the board. Like, it doesn't feel like he has a say, but with his presence there, do you feel that could actually hold back your team in moving on?
I think so. Like, you look at it from the respect, the shadow of Sir Alex Ferguson is still there. Like, any time we lose a game, anytime there's something negative going on, the camera, Sky Sports, BT Sport, Premier Sport, whoever it is, the camera always dawns on Sir Alex. And it's almost to say, this is what you used to be. I think with that, I suppose it comes with the territory. When he's in the stand every week, and if we're not doing well, it's going to be under the microscope. Now, him being there at the club as an ambassador, absolutely, keep him there. Like, he knows, like, you know, he's a good face to have at the club, and it's always good to have the man who knows the club inside out. Like, he was a pioneer of English football, you know. So absolutely, I can see the pros and cons of having Fergie still at the club. But again, look, I just love the man so much. Like, you know, I couldn't say, you know, a bad word about him, really.
Yeah, but then Fergie left at the right time, and you can't compare the two. I mean, one isn't. I mean, not being funny. Wenger will have done well, but compared to Ferguson was a genius, wasn't he? I mean, how many Champions League he went twice?
He won twice, and then he got to another 2 finals against Barcelona.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, let's get it right. I mean, and just thinking about Ferguson there, I mean, this shows you how modern day football's changed. I mean, he was going 5 years without winning anything, and on the verge of going out, and it was the FA Cup. Was it the third round when Robins scored? And then what's his name? Is it Mark Robbins or was it? I can't forget his name now. Is it Robbins? Anyway, I can't remember. Anyway, he got the goal. It was at Nottingham Forest, and they went on to win the FA Cup there. Yeah, and that was the start for United. That propelled United on to great success, and then you got, of course, the class of '92, isn't it? So they come through as well. So, you know, it's different circumstance, and he went at the right time. What better time to go than winning the league title?
Yeah, like you look at the way when he left United. Like, look, I suppose it was a season where, look, we came back off the year where City won the league on goal difference, and Alex Ferguson was actually meant to retire that season. But he said he's going out a winner. Like, that's what Ferguson wanted. He wanted to go out as a winner. And for him to go out and win the league 13 points clear of everybody else, that was the perfect time, because you looked at that team. It was aging. You had an Asian Rio Ferdinand. You had an Asian Nemanja Vidic. You had an Asian Patrice Evra. Wayne Rooney was coming towards the end of his time. Yeah. Van Persie's injuries were starting to come back. You had Ryan Giggs, who was coming towards the end of his career. Michael Carrick coming towards the end of his career. And then at that point as well, the state of the Manchester United Academy wasn't great, because the FA Youth Cup team that won, I think it was 2 years before that, most of that team moved on many loan deals because they weren't getting into the team, because the team was still successful around then. And I suppose Ferguson seen that at that time, and he's like, look, I need to get out, because he's seen the other young managers coming through. Obviously, you had the Pep Guardiolas, Jurgen Klopp was close enough to come into the Premier League. Jose Mourinho was coming back to Chelsea. So you look at the time when Ferguson left, he was very astute about that. He said, like, look, now is the time to get out. I'm a winner. And, again, I suppose you see now the state of the club since he's left, Claude. Like, we haven't won a league title since then. And look, we're what if we don't win it this year, we're 8 years without a title. So you have to look at that and say, like, we're going a really long stage now without winning the league title. And like, I've grown up with William, and we've talked about Arsenal that time when you went a certain amount of time with league title. And at that time when I was talking to William, I never could have imagined that United would go that long without a league. In that respect, because we were always thereabouts. We'd win it every year, every second year. But to see I suppose the cycle that's happening now, it kind of shows that football does come in cycles in terms of teams being successful. Like, you look now, the Manchester City and Liverpool seem to be predominantly the two, I suppose, most successful teams in England right now. Like, who's to say maybe in 5-10 years' time, Chelsea might come back around, Arsenal might come back around, in terms of being the top team in England. Like, you look at in the past couple of decades, it's all becoming cycles in terms of who has been like this most successful team, though domestically in the league.
Agreed. I agree. I couldn't agree more.
Great point made there. So after speaking about old glories, let's talk about our current forms of the teams, and let's go on to current day stuff. So, I'll start with you, Keane. Obviously United are picked up form since the international break after losing 6-1 to Tottenham, when you saw Ollie getting hackled by absolutely every single bit of fans saying, oh, he won't be good enough, the team are playing shocking. You come back out, you hammer, sure, it was only Newcastle, but then you beat PSG, you drew 0-0 against Chelsea, and then obviously you've done what you did there on Tuesday night, wasn't it?
Wednesday, yeah.
How are you feeling about United right now?
I suppose, like, look, I think it's too early to say that we've turned the corner since that 6-1 defeat against Tottenham. Like, look, that game was just an absolute, shit show. Like, let's be honest, the Spurs just tore us apart that day. They just absolutely tore us to shreds. And I suppose for any person to come to Old Trafford and tear us apart and beat Mourinho, that was a low blow more than anything else. And then obviously you look at our form after the international break. We had a 4-1 win against Newcastle, but that scoreline kind of flattered Man United's performance that day. The floodgates didn't open until we brought on the big boys, when the likes of Pogba, Van de Beek came off the bench. Then, we started getting 2, 3, 4 goals at that point. And you look at the PSG game, absolutely, I thought we were well in control of that game. And the 2-1 scoreline, people say it flatter us, but I don't think it does. So at PSG, were kept at bay. I thought Wan-Bissaka was absolutely fantastic that day. Young Axel Tuanzebe came in, and to say that a player who was out for 10 months to kind of man-mark Kylian Mbappe, he's done a fantastic job in that respect. And again, look, Marcus Rashford, a man who's not only doing great stuff on the pitch, but off the pitch as well, though he's an absolute gem of a human being. And to see, I suppose, him get the winner again in Paris, that was great. It was kind of poetic justice almost. Then you look at the 0-0 draw against Chelsea. Again, two teams who were cagey on the day. It's like both teams didn't want to lose because both teams in recent times kind of had very suspect defensive records. So put that into perspective at that time. I can understand with Ollie and Lampard at that time, two managers are under scrutiny. Both know if they lost this game, they both would have been under the cosh again. So I wasn't happy with the results that day, but look, though we moved on. And again, the other night against Leipzig, to win 5-0 against a team that was Champions League semi-finalist last season is remarkable. No one gave Solskjaer much credit for that win. Even though Julian Nagelsmann, I'd just like to touch on Nagelsmann for a minute. He's such a tactically astute manager. And all the talk before this was that Nagelsmann is going to take Solskjaer to school. He's going to tactically outsmart him. And again, Ollie switched up the formation for the third time in 3 games. Went to the 4-1-2-1-2 diamond formation. He got a bit of balance in midfield, and he showed where he managed to get his best players into a team. So, look, I'm happy enough that we were undefeated since that 6-1 defeat. But again, look, this is a game against Arsenal on the weekend where this is 2 teams, again, who won't want to lose this game. Arteta in the big games, one thing I will say, he does set up well. He does set up well in the big games. So, look, I'd be interested to see kind of how both teams set up, because I see Arsenal recently went with a 4-3-3 against Leicester, But then last night against Dundalk, they went back to their normal three at the back. So be interesting to see how Arsenal set up, because they do have firepower up front. And again, with Harry Maguire at the back, who's very suspect at the moment, will they use their pace up front with the likes of Nicholas Pepe, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Willian? They have plenty of options there to expose our back four. So it'd be interesting to see how we set up, and it'd be interesting to see how Arteta approaches the game.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And on that point, how do you feel, Claude? Yeah, go on.
Yeah. 3 weeks ago, I'd been confident getting the result there. Things have changed, and I look at United, and you're right what he's just saying, and I have a feeling tomorrow, on Sunday, this could be a 0-0 again, because, as you said, Arteta won't want to lose. He'll definitely go with the 3. He won't change the system. He even played the last night against Dundalk, so it weren't exactly, what I'm saying. So I think he will go. And by the way, no disrespect to Dundalk, but they were out of their depth last night. It's more like watching the National League side, really. By the way, in that game, they did not commit one foul. Did you know that's a record? Has never happened before.
I turned off the game at half time last night. Yeah. Did they not actually? Did they not complete one foul?
Not a single foul. Well, what happened is they didn't commit a single foul that the ref gave. There should have been 1 or 2 fouls there, but he didn't give any for Dundalk.
No. It was like a training session.
Attackers against defenders.
But for 40 minutes, it was getting a bit fun. It was strange that we weren't getting. But I knew once the first one to go in, they just. And it was like even when they were 2 down, they were just gonna sit down and just play not to leave any more goals in rather than have a go, But anyway, with the United game, I think it's like the Chelsea game. Both coaches will be afraid to lose again on this one. And I can see them both cancelling each other out again. I think the only chance I think is Arsenal got a win in is get one on the counter. Hopefully that Maguire's one of his sleeping moments, but I can't see anything other result than a 0-0 on Sunday. I really can't. That's the sort of game it's going to be, I think, because I before the Chelsea game, I said on my prediction show last week on the Banstas, called in the Banstas show, I fancied United to beat them, but then I looked at it and I thought to myself, there's 2 teams that have been conceding goals lately, and I thought over the weekend I was thinking, wouldn't surprise me. I said I wouldn't surprise me if this would be 0-0, because they'll just they're both not concentrating on not letting the goals in, innit? So they've overcompensated by just making sure that they weren't conceding, and it turned out it wasn't an easy game to watch, was it? I mean, and I've got a feeling Sunday's going to be the same, because Arteta, I'm afraid, since he's been here, has been very pragmatic in his approach, and I think Ollie he's done a couple of good games. The only thing I'll say will give us a chance against United, I think, is the complacency that might set in because of their 2 big wins, and they might think, we can relax and we can do that, we can push forward and leave the gaps at the back. That's the only chance I see Arsenal getting a result. Other than that, the only thing I can see is that Arteta will just suffocate the game out, and it'll be a 0-0. That's all I can see on that game.
No, that's fair. What would you predict the team lineup to be? What would you think that the team he will set up?
We have a problem. This is where we've got a problem, because we got now.
David Luiz.
Luiz could be out. I think he's going to be out, and I've got there again, and one of the 3 at the back there. So that, and then it'll be a 3-4-3. I would presume that he will play Thomas. I'm sure he'll play Thomas. Thomas Partey will return. I think he'll play Xhaka because he loves Xhaka. Whatever Xhaka can do, he'll play him alongside Xhaka. I think, and then he'll play the 2 wing backs. I think it'll be Bellerin again. I think, and on the left it'll be Kieran Tierney, and then you got the three in the up front. I think he'll have it could be between Pepe and Willian for that one spot on one side. I think Aubameyang will be on the left coming down, or he has suggested he might play Aubameyang down the middle. He might change things, which another thing that divides a lot of fans. There's a lot of fans in our fan base that think Aubameyang should be playing down the middle, and there's a lot of players saying he's not one that can hold the ball up, and play with his back to goal. And if you look at Dortmund, he always played wide as well. He always came in from wide at Dortmund. So everyone now suddenly thinks, well, why can't he play down the middle? But I'm not so sure whether he will play down the middle. But I think he will play on the left, and I think it'll be either Lacazette or Eddie Nketiah up as the striker at the moment. Eddie should get the nod because Lacazette is completely out of form and no confidence. And the thing with Eddie, every time he scores, we haven't lost a game. So maybe that would be a good thing to play him. But if he does score, so that's the only thing I would say. I think that would be. I think that's how the lineup will go. I have a feeling that unless Holding is fit, then he might come back into. He might come back.
So, I don't think he is.
So what? So I think. What did I say? I said.
So Leno, Bellerin.
No, I make a mistake. Yeah, no, Xhaka will play in the middle. Sorry, because I'm forgetting Gabriel will be back. So it'll be Gabriel, Mustafi, and probably be Kolasinac, wouldn't it? If Luiz is not playing, probably be Kolasinac, and then you got the Partey and Xhaka in the middle with the two wing backs would be Tierney and what to say, Bellerin. So I'm getting confused here because I just realised that Gabriel will be back in it because he wasn't playing the other night. Gabriel will be back. Yeah, he's important to us, by the way. So Gabriel,
very much.
The three central three at the back there will be Gabriel. As Luiz is not playing, he'll probably have to stick Kolasinac there. Which and
you see, personally, when I look at it, I'm thinking, right, we can go Leno in goal, right, playing the same formation, Bellerin right wing back, then the centre backs be Gabriel, Mustafi, and you can put Kieran Tierney in as the third centre back, and you can play Bukayo Saka left wing back.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good shout.
Because then once you're transitioning, we can go into like three in midfield when we're attacking, and you can sit back when defending. And then I think probably Xhaka, Partey.
Being away from home, I'm not sure whether players that like to go like you got Xhaka and as a wing back. And Xhaka does like to attack. I think he might want a bit of someone more solid there. Someone a bit more solid. I don't know. I mean, you don't know what the thinking is behind Arteta there, but I agree that wouldn't be a bad idea. I forgot about Saka, didn't I? Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. We would shout.
Because I think at the moment, like Saka is one of our most creative players, and especially if we're trying to break out on the counter attack. Like, if you get him to the ball, at least he can play it forward and also through lines.
Actually,
in the sense that if it's Xhaka.
Yeah, thinking about it, I think that's what he might do, actually. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I think, he could be right. I think I'll have Saka and play Kieran Tierney there. Yeah, because I don't think he'll trust the other Kolasinac. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's what he'll do. Or
you hope he don't trust Kolasinac.
Or he'll play Tierney there and play Kolasinac as the wing back. So there's so many. It's all different options possibly. But I think that will be roughly run where he can. I don't think. Although Joe Willock had a great game the other night, and Reece Nelson played really well, I don't think they'll be in the lineup. But
no doubt. And then Keane, what would you feel like? Obviously, you changed to like a 4-1-2-1-2 diamond there during the week. Do you think you'll continue that formation, or what do you think you're going to play?
I want us to play that. But that's not going to happen. What's going to happen is I think Ollie's going to try and match Arsenal for at least the first 60, 70 minutes of the game. I think we're going to go to 3-5-2. So I think we're going to go with the back three as well, / back five. I think David De Gea starts in goal again because he's after rediscovering form the last couple of games. He's made crucial saves. He's back in. Aaron Wan-Bissaka will be on wing back. The three centre backs will be Tuanzebe, Maguire, Lindelof. Left wing back will be Luke Shaw. Our midfield three will be a three of Fred, Matic, and Bruno Fernandes. And up top, then you'll have Marcus Rashford and Mason Greenwood.
Fair. So, yeah, that's pretty much almost all it. The last thing we're going to do, just for a little bit of fun, just if you were to pick a combined team of between Arsenal and Man United, what would it be? Claude first.
Do you want to go first? Do you want to do, oh, yeah, Claude, yeah, go on, yeah.
I'll give you the goal. I think I'll give you the goalkeeper.
So I have my team here for a combined 11. So I've went with a 3-5-2 with regards to this. So I've gone with De Gea in goal, even though it's very close with Leno. Leno's been fantastic since he's come to Arsenal.
I don't know if it's close. I'm not a big fan of Leno. In fact, I wanted him out. I didn't want Martinez to lose his spot. But there we go. Go on then.
And so I wanted to get all the attacking players in, right? So I've went with a very kind of weird back three because I want to get all the attackers in because both teams are spoiled with attacking talent. So my back three is Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire, and Kieran Tierney. My midfield three, Thomas Partey, fantastic footballer. I loved him at Atletico Madrid, and I'm jealous that you have him at Arsenal. I have Bruno Fernandes in there, again, United's best player since he's come into the team. He's been fantastic. I've Paul Pogba in there, even though I don't think he's in Ollie's kind of plans at the moment. He's someone who's on the bench quite a lot recently, but on pure talent, I have Paul Pogba in there. On the right-hand side, I have Willian in there. Again, good little signing for you, especially on a free transfer. You know, he's come in, he's done very, very well. So Willian on the right. I have Marcus Rashford on the left. What can I say about that? Everyone doesn't know about the man. He's just, for a 22-year-old player, fantastic player on the pitch, and again off the pitch, he's just a fantastic human being. And up top, I've gone with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. My opinion, best number 9 in the league last season, and if he keeps scoring goals, he might be on course for another Golden Boot challenge. And I've Anthony Martial up front with him. So I've kind of went, apart from the back three, I've just gone with a blatantly attacking kind of front, I suppose, 7. So, like, I suppose when you look at that starting lineup, that lineup gets tore to shreds on the counter attack. But you look at it, they score 5, we score 6 type of thing.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the guys in goal. Yeah. If you're going for the 3, I'm the only one I would put in our team would be Gabriel. Then, yeah, the only one, and then you can have the other 2. The other 2 you can have. Midfield, that's where we're very poor. I mean, the only in the 4. I mean, in the 2 in the middle, I'd maybe have Partey. The 2 wing backs, I think you've got Wan-Bissaka. I think I'd have Kieran Tierney on the other side. So I'd have Thomas Partey in the middle with maybe Paul Pogba. Yeah, and then if you're going to go for the 3 up front, I'm going to go. Rashford on one side. I'm gonna go. Oh no! Hold on. No, I'm forgetting Bruno, aren't I? In this, it's hard. I'm forgetting Bruno because he's quality. I mean,
if you go like a 3-5-2, you'll probably be able to get Bruno in there.
If I go 3-4-3, what I'll do is I'll go Bruno and Partey in the middle. Yeah, I'll take Pogba out, and then I'll the front three are the Rashford, Aubameyang, and Greenwood. There we go.
Fair.
William, what's your combined 11? I'm interested to hear your one.
Personally, well, I had a formation. Then just looking at it, I had a decision and actually changed it to a 4-1-2-1-2, like you were playing for the Champions League. So I have De Gea in goal. Even though he makes mistakes, Leno does make a few mistakes. I personally rathered Martinez as well. But these things happened. He's sold. He's our goalkeeper now. You deal with it. De Gea's in goal. So Wan-Bissaka right back. I put Gabriel next to Maguire because I think Maguire would actually deal well with the actual leadership of Gabriel because he seems to be a right leader the way he's been playing. He's been fantastic for us. And you even saw against Leicester, he was telling Mustafi where to be, that he's going, he's doing it, but Mustafi didn't listen to him, obviously, and the goal came. Then left back, I have Kieran Tierney. Now, in the holding position, I have Thomas Partey. Again, good player. Can't wait to look forward to seeing him play for Arsenal and hopefully show us why we've paid his release clause. And then the other two in the wider midfield, I have Paul Pogba and Bukayo Saka. Then in the attacking midfield, I've also got Bruno Fernandes with then Aubameyang and Rashford up top.
Yeah,
That's a good team. That's a good team. That'd be a very good team. Whatever happens, anyway, I think that team itself definitely would do very well. We'll have to ask you a question, Claude, right? You know, since it's obviously we both criticised the managers tonight, right? Who is the manager of that combined 11, Arteta or Solskjaer?
Oh, dear. You know,
take a flip a coin on that one, I'd say.
I don't know too much about Solskjaer, but I don't know. It's a toss-up, isn't it? It's a toss of a coin, isn't it? I'm not a big fan of Solskjaer. See, I'm not a big fan of it. But then he's produced two great performances, isn't he? I want to see how he does over the season, though, because I want to see. And between me and you, I'm not a great fan of Lampard. I think he's going to cost Chelsea a lot as well. I want to see it over the season what happens. It's a toss of a coin for me. It's a toss of a coin. Honestly,
William,
I'm going to go Arteta. I'm going to back my own manager and say he's won 2 trophies. How many trophies has Ollie won?
Oh, one trophy. Come on, let's not make a Community Shield trophy. Yeah.
Fine. One trophy, one piece of silverware.
Yeah. One trophy. Yeah, but then again, so did Roberto Martinez, and look what happened there with Wigan. So yeah, I know what you mean now. I know what you mean.
So William, do you want to give us our score predictions?
So obviously we know Claude has gone on with 0-0 is what he's feeling like, and that'll be cagey. I've personally, because I've done Super 6 Plus, which as is the Arsenal United game, you have to predict a few things. I've predicted 1-1 with Bruno Fernandes to score the first goal. I think you're going to get a penalty by VAR, which will be quite harsh because VAR always goes against us in big games. But I think we're going to get an equaliser, then it's going to be a draw.
Well, William, you've stole my thunder with regards to the prediction. At the end of every show, every Man United channel, whether it's All for United or Mad Red United or Keen on United, whatever show I'm on, I always predict in my score prediction that we get a Bruno Fernandes and VAR award a penalty because it boils the piss of all the rival fans. But no, I'm going to take a different route now this week on this show here today. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 Manchester United win. And we're going to get Marcus Rashford double. I think Aubameyang will put 1-1, but I think Marcus Rashford will get the winner and again make the headlines.
Yep, that's fair.
Good call.
Okay. So that's basically it for this podcast. Claude, would you like anything that you would like to plug?
Yeah, it's just as you know, I've got a great team. With Diesel and Terry, they're a brilliant team. I took them on because my channel wasn't going very far because I got lazy with AFTV, but I took these boys on and the channel was really going well and really exciting plans for the future, and and they are the main reason that this channel is going forward in a big way. So big up to the boys. I'm a Guna Terry and Diesel, both on Twitter. Give them a follow, and the Claude and the Banstas, of course, which will be going out at 7:00 tonight with a prediction show.
Perfect. And go on, Keane, anything you'd like to plug on behalf of the Weekly Armchair podcast, and anything else you'd like to plug?
Yeah, so I'm, as always, as you see, is my handle there. You can follow me at Keane_Franey for all the Bruno Fernandes propaganda on Twitter. And as always, do like and subscribe to the Weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast. We're live again at 7:00 tonight on our Manchester United show tonight, so do tune in for that. And also, I'm actually jumping right off this onto Cockney Red 99's channel over there. So literally the grind never stops. Sorry?
Busy man.
Yeah, busy man, absolutely. So I'm off this straight onto another show and then onto my United show at 7:00. So, do tune into them. So absolutely, always talk about Manchester United, love talking about football, and look, because like Manchester United against Arsenal is this, it is one of the biggest games in the history of English football. It'd be great to see both teams, though, hopefully go for it on Sunday. Though hopefully it's a good game of football. Let's hope there's not too much controversy with VAR, because look, at the moment we've become Penchester United at the moment. So let's hope that tag
you could have a whole week on VAR, mate. I'm sick of it. I hate it. I can't stand it.
We could definitely do a whole podcast just on the flaws of VAR. That's something that could be done. And even at that, you could probably split it into two. Lads, thanks for coming on this evening. William, well done on hosting your first show today. Joe, very big, massive well done to yourself. And Claude, thanks very much for coming on this evening, Joe, and best of luck with your channel going forward.
No, thank you very much, boys, and you're welcome to come on my channel now and again. One day, yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
No problem. 100%, no problem at all.
And thank you so much for inviting me on, by the way. Thank you. Really pleasure to be on here and talking to you. Thank you.
No problem, Claude. Have a good evening. Enjoy the game Sunday.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers.